He himself said, I am happy to speak with Wendy and I hope to work positively with her in the future as I have in the past. What would happen if you sent messages like this at work? Think very poor how privy councillors who aren't favoured have been excluded from the funeral. Very poor and sends a very clear message. All right, fair enough. He's cross because he's not allowed to go to the funeral. Wendy Morton replies, that is not the case, Gavin. Well, it certainly looks it, which I think is very and perception becomes reality, which he's probably read in a Judge Dredd comic. Also, don't forget, I know how this works, so he's written puss me about with a U. That might be a typo. If it's a typo, then I would need to deploy the... as I said above, and you can tell Wendy Morton's got that tone that you adopt when you're dealing with a drunk mate or when you're dealing with a colleague who is just, constantly getting on everybody's nerves. As I said above, that's simply not the case, Gavin. The number of places allocated was extremely limited. And he goes on, it's very clear how you are going to treat a number of us, which is very stupid, and you are showing all interest in pulling things together. Don't bother asking anything from me. Also, because he's sent that and then he's still cross. So he's pressed send and then he's gone, I'm Sir Gavin Williamson. They can't treat me like this. Wendy Morton should go away and shut up. So he sends another text and he goes, also, this shows exactly how you have rigged it. It is disgusting. You are using her death to punish people who are just supportive. Absolutely disgusting. Now he's bringing the late Queen into it. And she replies again, Gavin, again, this is not the case whatsoever. Well, he replies, let's see how many more times you us all over. There is a price for everything. That's a blatant threat. I don't think you could send a text like that in your workplace, could you? Really? A, the swearing and B, the threatening? I don't know, maybe you could. And she comes back, I think you are wasting my time. No, beg your pardon. Gavin, as I have said, that is not the case. That's the first, second, third, fourth time she said that this is not the case. And back comes Big Gav. I think you are wasting my time and you are obviously intent on not being upfront nor willing to listen to concerns and have decided to isolate people. Isolating people by patiently and repeatedly replying to their unhinged, foul-mouthed texts with a simple explanation that what you think is happening is not happening. And then the next morning. Morning, Gavin. I hear from your whip that you are probably not voting this evening. Is there a problem? We are on a 3-line whip. Thanks. To which he replies, thank you for the patronising and condescending tone. This is a man who was swearing at her a few hours previously. Thank you for the patronising and condescending tone. You're welcome to come and see me and explain. He could have added woman there, right? He wouldn't send messages like this to a man. He could have just added woman there. We all know someone like this. You're welcome to come and see me and explain, woman. But instead he adds best wishes. And then, because he's still cross and he's sending another one, he's got to send another. Come on, Gavin Williamson. You do know you can speak to people in your job. You don't just text them. So this is incredible, actually. Let's get a little bit forensic on this one. Because this is the same minute in which he accuses her of a patronising and condescending tone. So this is the level of the man's self-awareness. He accuses someone else of using a patronising and condescending tone and in the same breath adds, you do know you can speak to people in your job. You don't just text them. Now, I don't know what the dictionary definition of patronising and condescending is, but I think it's well within the bounds of possibility that it features a small photograph of Gavin Williamson. That is the definition, the distillation, the very essence of patronising and condescending. And he has accused her of that in the previous text. And then back to Wendy Morton, who I know very little about, and I am addicted to hopium, but I'm beginning to feel quite sorry for her. Ready? There is absolutely no need for you to take this tone, Gavin. I am trying to help. And this is where it actually gets quite surreal, because Gavin Williamson replies, how are you? As in, how are you trying to help? And Wendy Morton responds saying, I'm fine. Did you see? So she says, I'm trying to help. He says, how are you? As in, how are you trying to help? But he writes, how are you? And she replies, I'm fine. And then his little head explodes. Because presumably, I mean, she might have been mocking him. I don't actually think she was. Because if someone sends you a text saying, how are you? Question mark. Like literally, those are the only 3 words there. What are you going to reply? You're going to reply, yeah, I'm fine. Be a bit confused. Why is he asking how I am? He was being incredibly, unspeakably rude to me 2 minutes ago. And then his little head explodes because she says, I'm fine. He goes, no, how are you helping? But very glad you are fine. Look at my voting record. Step back and think how you're dealing with people. And then maybe talk to people. Here it comes. Are you ready for this? I'm currently with my poorly dog. Pardon? I'm currently with my poorly dog. I am currently with my poorly dog and the vets. So I will give you some time to reflect on how you are dealing and treating people. To which Wendy, Mother Teresa Morton, responds with the words, I need no lecture from you, Gavin. When I ask a civil question, I will call you later. Just think, for a few seconds she thought maybe a little modicum of civilization had been restored when he asked how she was. And then his head truly swiveled off his shoulders. 10:41 is the time. Why is this man in the cabinet? James.